Alright, what's up, guys? So, I'm doing this video to any manager out there that carries on like this because, I saw this tweet, and the guy, obviously, you can tell by the picture that he posted, he got into a car accident. So he sends that picture to his boss. Now, I guess if I'm a boss and the employer tells me that he's not going to be able to show up today because he got into a car accident, I'm like, all right, well, dang, bro. I'm just like, sorry to hear that. Hopefully everything goes good. And I'm trying to think, like, even if I was in a mindset to one, because you guys sit down and think about, like, if you're a manager and then you get caught up in some stuff like that, like, are you going to want to show up to work, especially if you stressed out, it's early in the morning or whenever the day is, all right, you just woke up and you're heading into work and then you get into a car accident, it's going to, just be all this, like, added, extra stress that's on you. I probably would have stayed home, too, if I was a manager, but I'm trying to, like, get into that mindset of being one of those, like, evil-minded managers, because that's what an evil-minded manager would do. If they carry on like that, where you get into a car accident, and then they're not even trying to be like, because no, so I am going to tell a story, but I did want to kind of, like, speak my opinion on this, where it's like, you are an evil-minded manager if you do some stuff like that, knowing, you would do the same exact thing if you was in their shoes, all right? So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's those managers where they just make it, and you could tell, like, whoever the manager was in that tweet that said, like, because they were telling them, like, no, you still got to come in, it's unacceptable, and there ain't no excuses unless, somebody in your family dies, or what was the other reason why they said they wouldn't, or they had like an issue with it. So the text goes on to say, it's understandable why you will be late, but regardless, anything that prevents you from being at the workplace other than a death in the family is unexcused at any company. Now, I remember it was when both my grandfathers, when they both passed, I think I did, because one was living out here, and then the other one was living in Louisiana. And so I did, take some time off. They didn't trip about that. I showed up, and then they were even telling me that I should have stayed home. So it was like, it's really up to that employer whether or not they want to show up to work. And I'm like, bro, and the thing is this, like, it trips me out, like, how there's managers that'll say stuff like that, and then they'll probably go out and take the day off just because, oh, I just felt like taking a day off, or I felt like doing this activity, or I felt like doing this activity. And I'm like, bro, it's just, there's some managers out there where it's like, you guys got to loosen up on stuff. But no, I wanted to actually tell the story on when one of my friends, when we used to work together, and how there was a time. So I think I might have said that, well, at least on my podcast, but because I'm trying, when did I last? I don't know if I've ever talked on this story or not, but anyways, regardless, if you have heard this story, then you probably already know where I'm going at. But if you haven't, brand new story for you guys. So anyways, at my old job, so my friend, she worked there for a little bit, and we, just always was just doing like extra, like a lot of work. Like, I mean, we're doing like freaking work for like 10 people, but it was just the three of us. So there was a day where she was like really sick and she was being sluggish. Like, you can tell that something wasn't right. And so she came up, she told me, she told the supervisor, and then I think she might have told she did tell the managers. And so I'll get to that part, but she told at least me and the supervisor, my other friend that worked with us. And yeah, we were chilling about it. We were all like, yeah, we've worked where it's only just been the two of us and things. So I'm like, I ain't even tripping about it. At least that's what I said. I was like, I'm not tripping about it. So, and I think, yeah, the supervisor, my other friend, I think you guys might have remembered me reacting to the band Monitor. So the bass player in there, Jack, yeah, that was my friend, and he was a supervisor. So anyways, all right, different story, getting off subject. But though, we were chilled about it, all right? And then it got to the point where she had to tell the managers. So I guess at some point in time, she told the managers. And so that next day came, she didn't show up. Day after that, she didn't show up. Day after that, she didn't show up. So I was like, something ain't right. I'm like, something ain't right. And I think they didn't tell us until maybe 2-3 days later that yeah she ended up quitting and stuff. And so I was like, what just? And so she worked down the street from the cafe. And so I remember I went into her job, I saw her, and I was like, hey yo, what happened? And then that's when she told me that she had sick leave. So it was like, okay, there's no reason why they should have been tripping about it. She had sick leave. So she told me that I guess when she approached them and told them that she wasn't gonna be able to show up tomorrow because she's feeling really sick and stuff. And the thing is like, okay, like if she's not feeling sick, then obviously she'll show up. But if she's feeling sick and she knows it's gonna be a while and things, then it's like, okay, then it's like, all right, you know, if you show up, you show up. If you don't, you at least you have sick leave, so we ain't gonna trip about it. So I guess she told them that she wasn't gonna show up the next day, right? And she had her reasons. They still wasn't, they were like, they had an issue with it. And then they said that they wasn't going to pay her if she took the day off and didn't show up. And it's like, fam, if she's sick and like something happened, she ends up going to the hospital, y'all gonna still be on some, oh, well, because the thing is this, like worst case scenario, she could have been like extremely sick, all right? And all right, so no, she showed, all right, two worst case scenarios. One being that, all right, she goes home, something's wrong, she ended up having to admit herself to the hospital. Worst comes to the worst, and then yeah, she ends up passing. So then that's gonna be on your guys' head that it's like, well, that was the last thing we said to, no, that will eat at them. That will eat at them. And then second scenario, okay, she's all like, well, I don't want to get on these guys' bad side, so I'm going to show up to work. She shows up, ends up passing out and dying at the cafe. I guarantee and promise you the cafe would have been shut down. I would have been making YouTube a full-time job. What? When did this happen? Back in like 2017, 2018? Yeah, it definitely would have been, that cafe would have shut down because I was like, nah. And I was like, and there was days where I remember where I was sick, I couldn't show, or no, there was days where I like, all right, because I live like outside of Seattle and stuff. So they would like when it would snow and things, they would, bro, like, so there was I remember there was one year where it snowed. I called the one manager and it was funny because like if she like seen that I was calling, she was like, you don't even have to tell me, I know you're not gonna be able to show up because it was a lot of snow outside, right? So I'm chilling, all right? So anyways, snow disappears, I'm able to go back to work. The other manager, she always had an issue with me, but anyways, she goes and she approaches me, she's like, oh, you're able to show up to work now? And I'm like, yeah, because there's snow outside. I'm like, what do you expect me to do? I'm like freaking Superman or teleport? Like, no, I'm not, because the thing is this, I've seen in so many situations where it's like a person slip falls, busts their head on the sidewalk, dead. Slip falls, tears an ACL, now I gotta go to the hospital and get surgery. Slip fall on my arm, my elbow pops out and goes in the opposite direction. No, I'm not trying to do all that. The times where it's like I have slipped and fell, I've been lucky and fortunate enough to not injure myself really bad. But no, there have been some times where it hadn't even been snowing outside. It's just been so much as raining. I still showed up when it was raining. And yeah, water, I'm telling you, Seattle is honestly one of the most unsafest places to be at when it's raining. I was just trying to go into a store and buy a do-rag. Next thing you know, I just feel my body literally falling at 700,000 million miles per hour straight down to the gravity. Literally grabbed me by my backpack and slammed me down on the ground, bro. And I'm telling you, both of my arms was in pain. I don't even know how both of my arms was in pain, but I just remember like being on the bus and I'm like, bro, I just want to go home. I think, I had bought Icy Hot for a different situation, but yeah, I was like, that was just when it rained and I'm like in snow and ice and I'm like, yeah, it definitely, honestly, like Seattle is an obstacle course when the weather conditions is bad and stuff. So that's why I was like, I'm not even going forward with it. I'm like, it's if I fall on like, you know, freaking dry ground, wet ground, what makes you think oh yeah, for some reason when it's snowing and icy outside, I'm just gonna be perfectly fine? No, I'm good. So, but yeah, they tripped about some stuff like that, and that's why I wanted to do this video, to just let managers know, like, if you did not find nothing wrong with what my story was with this tweet where the guy got into a car accident, if you found nothing wrong with that and you still expect the person to show up, that's why if you have it where your employers, if they quit after a while, then there you go. Because I'm like, we ain't trying to know. The thing is this. people have to, because there's I like, after having the manager that hired me on at the cafe, after having a manager like him, there should be no excuses for the managers and no reason for the managers to just be able to work. My thing is this, it's like, it trips me out how like a manager, they'll be so quick to get on you about some stuff, but it's like they don't put in that same effort and work themselves. It's like, yeah, you have that high-end position, congratulations, but I'm saying, like, if here's what me, it's like the times when I would put in work, I never thought about what other people was doing. Never. I'm like, yeah, if they wasn't doing nothing, then I'm like, okay, well then they're not doing nothing. All right. It's like, hey, you gotta do something. But if you, the thing is this, I don't care how you do it. I don't care how fast you do it. If you're working is work. Okay. But if you're not working, then yeah, obviously you're gonna get called out on some stuff like that. But it's like, bruh, it was every day at that cafe. I showed up early. I left late. I did my work. Okay. I barely took days off. I think the 2 times I did take like days off when it snowed, of course, outside. But the 2 times I do remember, out of the 4 years that I had worked there, the 2 times I remember I took off, I took a day off because I was actually sick. I was like, honestly, this was like before COVID. But no, like I remember I was like at that same level of sickness where it felt like I had COVID, and it was like all the way back in like 2016, 2017 or something. So I think I remember I took that day off, and then it was in 2019. I remember I just took a mental day, because I was like, no, I need to just take a day to myself. I just need to relax today, because I'm like, just, having it where it was, because I'm trying to think, was that at the time when we had a cashier by that time. But yeah, there was a while where it was just me and my friend Jack, where we were just working and stuff, and they didn't hire a third person. And I'm like, bruh, y'all need a third person at this location. You just got 2 people doing it, and we ain't getting paid extra. I'm like, no, we need to, unless you're going to split that check well, from a third person, if they was working here, and split amongst me and Jack, then I'm like, okay, cool. But if not, and we still getting paid, I'm like, bro, I am tired. And so I do remember it was a day in 2019 where I did take the day off. And I felt bad because it was like, no, that same day, and that's the thing, I wasn't taking the day off for that reason. But I do remember as soon as I had woke up, because this was right after Nipsey Hussle had passed away. And I remember watching the funeral and stuff, and I'm like, I made sure of it. I think I came back to work the next day, and I was like, look, bro, I just need me a day off, all right? I need me a mental day, but it wasn't because of this rapper's, funeral and stuff. I was like, no, like, I need a day, all right? So, but nah, man, it was like, and I think that's just everybody needs mental days, all right? They need to take that's from managers to supervisors to employers, the freaking janitor, everybody, okay? Even the crackhead screaming out in front of the building at times. Everybody needs a day off, all right? So now I'm like, whether there is a reason behind it or that person just needs a mental day. But if they just taking the day off because they don't want to work, then I'm like, okay, well, eventually that will catch up to them and stuff. And yeah, they're gonna find themselves getting fired and things. So, but if they're taking the day off because it's like, oh, I got like these, and I mean, sometimes the responsibilities, they can, be a little dumb too. Because now there was one employee where she needed the whole day to take her kid to school. Now that was something where I'm like, I don't know, maybe the day when I have kids, they'll understand that. But at the time being, I'm like, you need the whole day to take your kid to school? You mean to tell me that there ain't, like, no? Because I was like, my parents never had took the whole day off to just take me to school. It was literally a drive. And then some days I'm like, hey, you don't even gotta drive, I will walk up to the school. So yeah, it was just it's weird, man. It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know about that one. But yeah, I just think that there's some managers out there where it's like they just gotta chill and loosen up the ropes and things. Like if you're a manager and you find yourself watching this video, then this is your sign. Loosen up the ropes, chill a little bit, all right? If that person ain't working, they just slacking on the job, then fire them. But if they need a day off because, okay, they get into a car accident, or let's just say they need to take their kid to school, or they're sick, whatever the situation is, and it's like, or they just need themselves a mental day, it's like, whatever the situation is, all right, let them take that day off. If it's like they taking months, years, and all these other, times off and things, and there ain't no reason behind it, then yeah, and they're all like, no, I just wanted to take the day off. It was like, I'm not sick, or I just didn't want to be here and stuff. Then I'm like, okay, well, see how long they last, all right? But Anyways, but yeah, it's like there's just some managers out there where it's like you guys need to chill, all right? Like I said, otherwise you're gonna find yourself looking for a lot of different employers, and then you're gonna mess with that wrong employer and stuff or employee. And yeah, then they'll go on social media, of course, talk about it. Now you gotta do like some old like social media post or whatever. You know, it's just you're just having all this unnecessary amount of things happening to you that don't need to be happening. All right, so. But anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace.